Welcome to another episode of Dead Headspace Spotlights episode. This is the very last one for this season, season 2, the year 2021. Spotlights episode, for those that are new to this, is a mini version of our full episode where we do the guest does a reading, and before or after, depends on the guest, the choice. We do some brief talks about it. So today, sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself. Um, I am your host, Patrick R. McDonough, joined always by my co-host, Brennan LaFaro. Say hi, Brennan.
Hello, everybody.
And today we are joined by the incredible Kathe Koja. Hello, Miss Kathe Koja.
Hi, everybody. I'm excited to be here tonight.
Fun fact, you are the reason why we started thinking about doing a branch mini series, because the readings don't really fit with the full version episodes that we got, because those are more conversational, and we wanted to do a reading. And you saying you wanted to do Dr. Seuss just kind of stuck with us. And this is the 10th one we've done in the last 3-4 months. So thank you. You are the reason why we started it.
Me and Dr. Seuss, cool beans.
Started with Sina Pelayo and ends with Kathe Koja reading Dr. Seuss. That's a pretty good.
And this is my first public reading of Dr. Seuss. I've read privately for, small people, but I have never publicly read from Dr. Seuss. So I am excited. And, I was thinking about this. I was telling people we were going to do this tonight. As adults, when you have a reading, or when you go to a reading, or you see one on Zoom, we don't get read to anymore. And that was one of the great things of being a kid, right? Is having somebody read you a bedtime story. And I used to read to my son small. It was awesome. And yet when you're an adult, somehow no one does that for you anymore. That's not cool. That's why we all love, audiobooks. That's why we love podcasts. It's someone telling us a story. And all we have to do is listen, which is pretty cool.
That's so sad. I never even thought of that. Yeah, I love audiobooks. I guess that's why.
Especially if it's like a really great narrator who really pulls you in. That's why I don't understand. I know people, you read them or listen to them while they're driving, but I can't. I have to pay attention. That would be, to me, that would be like trying to drive and read. And it can't. I have to sit down and pay attention, and then you get lost in it. So.
Absolutely. Brennan, do you have any questions, sir?
No, but I'd like to jump in on that. I love to go on a morning walk if I can get my butt out of bed early enough. And I used to really enjoy doing it to music. And lately I've been, taking a book with me, not walking and reading. That's very dangerous, but playing an audiobook. And there is something very comforting about it, especially if you're up early in the morning, it's not quite light out, and you've got, a great story in your ears. I never really thought about it in terms of once you hit adulthood, nobody's reading to you. So, we do have to kind of rely on electronic devices to do that mothering job for us. But there is an innate comfort in it.
There is, and you're lost in the story, but you trust the voice that's leading you, right? So you don't have to. Although I remember reading, I'd never had read or had read to me the Velveteen Rabbit when I was a kid, and I came to, it's like, oh, this is a classic, I'll get it for my own child. And as I'm reading it to him, he's like, is that rabbit going to be all right? I'm like, honey, I don't know. I have never read this before. But it's like, you know the story where the Velveteen Rabbit wants to become real, and then the kid who has him has scarlet fever, and they're like, throw that old bunny on the trash rubbish heap to be burned.
Oh.
And we're like, oh shit, is that what's going to happen? This is not good. This is not cool. Not cool. So that was one of the few times where both the narrator and the recipient were in equal straits, saying, oh shit.
That's awesome.
But we're not there tonight. Tonight we're with Dr. Seuss.
Fun fact, Dr. Seuss is also a masshole like me and Brennan. Out in Springfield, Massachusetts, they have a little statue for him. I wish it was like kind of amusement park, because that guy should have his own amusement park.
Oh my God, like Six Flags, only all Dr. Seuss.
Exactly. Yeah. No, I have gone to that. What is it? Is it Universal Studios that has Dr. Seuss theme park?
I don't know.
Is it good?
It's it's not the whole theme park. I can't remember. It was like either Universal or part of something in Disney World. Yeah, it's fun, but it's not an entire amusement park, which is what I would like.
This is what it should be. It should be the Salisalu amusement park, and then you go through all this shit, right? That the guy goes through in
Yep.
Salisalu. This is so great. And that's what I love about his books, that he was not afraid to say things to kids like, life sucks sometimes. And even though you're doing your very best, like the part where this guy goes through all these tribulations, plus the book isn't even half over. And he finally gets to this bus stop and it says, "Notice to passengers using our line, we are sorry to say that our driver, Butch Myers, ran over 4 nails and has punctured all tires. So until further notice, the 442 cannot possibly take you to Salisalu." It's like, what is this shit? But Dr. Seuss was unafraid to say, yeah, things are going to be, you're going to have problems. There are lots of problems. And even though it's not your fault, this is going to happen to you. So what are you going to do about it? How are you going to handle it? So, but the that I've chosen to read from tonight goes, it hasn't gotten to that point yet. This is almost like his haiku book. So it's 1 fish, 2 fish, red fish, blue fish. But I'm not showing the pictures because in true audiobook fashion, you have to make the pictures up in your head. I'm not going to read the whole book because we don't need to read the whole book. First, we're going to start with Ned. Okay, I love Ned. Ned's got problems. Who am I? My name is Ned. I do not like my little bed. This is no good. This is not right. My feet stick out of bed all night. And when I pull them in, oh dear, my head sticks out of bed up here. Isn't that sad?
Yeah.
Sad.
He can't get comfortable.
He can't. He totally can't.
Tall bastard.
Then later in the book, this woman's calling him up and she says, "Hello there, Ned. How do you do? Tell me, what is new? How are things in your little bed? What is new? Please tell me, Ned." Nowadays, Ned would be on the socials, right? Look at this shit. And then it says, "I do not like this bed at all. A lot of things have come to call. A cow, a dog, a cat, a mouse. Oh, what a bed. Oh, what a house." Man, Ned is in trouble. You guys are not laughing as hard as I am. I'm telling you, Ned is having problems here.
I'm just thinking about like the creation of anything written by that guy. They're wild.
And the drawings, I mean, we're all familiar with his style and but the sheer oddity of things that are happening on every page of this book. This has my personal this is my personal religion. This is where I get any religion that I have is actually from this book.
That's awesome.
These 2 kids who are kind of like our viewpoint kids throughout the whole book. And one of them says, "Did you ever fly a kite in bed? Did you ever walk with 10 cats on your head? Did you ever milk this kind of cow? Well, we can do it. We know how. If you never did, you should. These things are fun, and fun is good." That is my true religion.
It's a hell of a mantra.
Seriously, fun and fun is good because without fun, and not just tra-la fun, but the fun that when you're really making something happen and you're really having a good time and you're really, especially if you're with other people and you're creating something together, it actually is good. I mean, you all know that you're making, this is super deep, right? Saying these things are fun.
Yeah.
Is good. Fun is a good in its own right, right? it doesn't have to necessarily lead to anything else. You're playing a game. You're walking with 10 cats on your head. You're milking this kind of, and the cow looks super happy too. The cow, oh yeah, I'm being milked. So, but these things are fun, and fun is good. We're supposed to be enjoying our time on this planet, right?
Absolutely.
Well, not only that, but like the one that strikes me is the, walking with 10 cats on your head, because all of the examples are like just these super out of left field. What the fuck? Like, who's walking around with 10 cats on their head? But it's like, again, we're looking for depth here, but it's like, well, did you ever try it? No, I never even thought about it. Well, you should. It's fun. What the hell? Live a little. Do something wacky. Live outside the box.
Like the Cat in the Hat, right? That's the whole burden of the Cat in the Hat. Because the Cat in the Hat is like, hey, you guys, yeah, it's rainy, so what? And then he starts doing all these things in the house, and the fish, Mr. Crinklebine, is like, you can't do that. And he's like, fish, get off my ass, right? We're going to have some fun together. We're going to do some things. And the fish is like, you shouldn't do that while your mother, you shouldn't, he should not be about, you should not be here when their mother is out. And then at the end of the book, it's so great. It's so subversive. At the end of the book, the mother comes home, right? And the cat has magically fixed everything, so everything looks perfect again. And then the mom is like, so what'd you guys do? And the narrator, the kids are like side-eyeing each other. And the narrator is like, well, what would you do if your mother asked you? And that's the end of the book, right? And it's like, these kids are going to lie. They're not, there's no way they're going to tell the truth. No kid on earth would tell the truth. Well, there was this cat, you see, and he was using your clothes for kites, and he was, messed up the fish. And then there was thing 2 and thing 1. Don't let's even get started on that.
Yeah.
But it ends with this really moral question, like, what would you do if your mother asked you?
And there's this like magical innocence of childhood implied there. The whole idea that like adults are no fun, and the mother can't even conceive of all of this stuff. So it's almost, I don't know. I always kind of looked at that to a degree as part of the kids, because I never really thought of it as a question. I just assumed that the kids didn't tell her. It's like it's for me, it's almost, that next page is almost written. But it was almost a matter less of, we don't want to get in trouble, and more like, oh, she'd never believe this, forget her. Let her go about her boring adult life.
I don't even have the vocabulary to tell you what we were just doing. So yeah, just skip it. Yeah, no, we didn't do anything. We looked out the window all day. Everything was cool.
But here's the thing, the geometrics to the patterns and so forth in that world, that reality, isn't anything like ours. So hearing you guys talk about this makes me think, well, what would the mother say if she knew the truth? Would that be because the fish can talk? Can adults hear him? Do they have the same logistics and expectations as we do? I know that's way deeper than any kid's gonna think, but I'm just wondering.
You don't know though, kids. I mean, who else but a kid, right? Yeah, maybe the fish doesn't talk to the mother. Maybe the fish tried or realizes it's just pointless. I mean, in the great Disney tradition, everybody's mother is dead back in the old movies, right? Before anything can even happen. It's like you're extraneous to the story. You're not part of the adventure. So, and how the kids can always talk to, magical beings, and the parents are like, why do you have an imaginary friend? And everyone has a story of things that happened that they didn't tell their parents. Like you're saying, not because they were afraid. It was like not even on the table. Not even. I remember things where it's like, we didn't even get the grown-ups involved, right? And then they'd come in afterwards and go, why are you slamming all these doors? It's like, you didn't even want to know, okay?
You wouldn't understand.
You wouldn't understand.
It's a kid thing.
You just lie and go, what are you doing? Nothing. I mean, what else can I tell you, right?
Well, not only that, but the one time you do let them in on it, they don't understand, thereby proving the rule.
Right. And they're right. Or or they try to understand, and then it's like awful and embarrassing, and you're like, oh dear, no, we're not doing that. Do you know the story? And I'm embarrassed, I can't remember the name of the writer. Mimsy Were the Borogroves, and they made a shitty movie about it called Mimsy.
That sounds familiar. I haven't seen it though.
The movie is bad. I didn't watch it, full disclosure, but it's very bad. It was playing in a room I was in, and that was bad enough. But the story is about these three kids who get this box full of objects that their parents can't identify. And the kids are staggered in age. I think the oldest is 10 or something, and there's a little one. And they start playing with the toys, and the little one is catching on faster than anybody to what these toys can really do. And at the end of the story, the kids are gone. The kids have been translated into some other reality because in the story, the narrators are saying, well, the adults are operating on, X logic, but they're operating on some other logic entirely. That's why the littlest one, who is the least infected by current grown-up reality, was the one who figured out the toys the fastest and taught the other two, and then they all just disappeared. And there's no way the grown-ups can follow them. The toys are still there, but they don't know how to use them. They can't be translated.
That's crazy.
I thought that Mimsy Were the Borogroves, I thought that was something that the Mad Hatter and Alice in Wonderland spouted out.
It is. That's where the title comes from.
That's
and it
awesome.
has significance in the story, and I can't remember that either. So I'm not very good at this. But it does have, there's a reason that maybe he's quoting it because that operates on its own logic too, right? And Alice, that's the other great thing about Alice in Wonderland. Alice never learns a valuable lesson. She just goes there and she's like, fuck, this place is crazy. Wow.
The Mad Hatter wasn't in the original story, too. The original story was written, by Lewis to Alice Little, and Lewis Carroll illustrated everything. I think it's a museum that the original book's in over in England, but it's very strange to not think of that character and the Tea Party scene in what we know as the final product. The Mad Hatter to me has always him and the Cheshire Cat. They're the ones that get it. They have fun.
And the Cheshire Cat especially, because the Cheshire Cat can peace out whenever he wants to.
Yeah.
He's like, I don't care. And what's the thing? Have you ever seen a cat without a grin? Well, have you ever seen a grin without a cat? I mean, it's so crazy. The only film I've ever seen of Alice in Wonderland that did it justice was the Jan Svankmajer short, where it's so weird. Everything is so weird and kind of janky and dangerous, and you're saying, okay, this is what Wonderland would really be like. It's operating on its own logic. That's why Through the Looking Glass is not as much fun. That's kind of a tacked on. That's a sequel that's never as good as the original. But yeah, I don't know if you could say Alice is having fun. Is Alice having fun? She's on an adventure.
I think she's trying to not die.
Could she have died in Wonderland?
Well, the Queen definitely tried to kill her.
Could she? That's really. I know there at one. I think it has to be in the second book where it's like, don't wake up the White King, because if you wake him up, we'll all be dead because we're only part of his dream. And Alice is like, yeah, no. Maybe that isn't that. Now I don't even remember. But yeah, she's not. I don't know if we could say that she's having fun. She's certainly having a vivid experience, but at least she keeps going with it, right? And she's not, I need to get back. She just keeps going. So good for Alice. there used to be, and I don't think it's in this room, and I can't say it in German, this instructive little book of German, like, moral tales for children. And they're so horrible. One of my teachers gave it to me when I was like in 3rd grade. And I don't think you could do that now because one of the kids, his mother's trying to cure him from sucking his thumb. And she's like, you watch out because the scissor man is going to come. And he's like, what? And so as soon as she leaves, he starts sucking his thumb again. And the illustration is just unbelievable, but the text is, the door flew open, in he ran, the great red-legged scissor man.
Oh, I don't like that at all.
I know, right? He cuts off his thumbs with scissors and then leaves. And then the mother comes back and it says, and there he stands and looks quite sad and shows his hands, and the illustration is like gore, his stumps. And she says, aha, I knew he'd come, naughty little suck-a-thumb.
That's a mom's reaction.
Problem solved, though. I mean,
I guess so.
He's not going to suck his thumbs again.
Isn't that a little harsh?
Oh my God.
Yeah. Maybe.
That's his mom, right? She's like, I told you so. There's another story later in the book where a rabbit shoots a hunter, which I was all about that one. But they're all stories like that, or like this kid who starves himself to death because he won't eat. And like on the 5th day, he's dead. And these are like little moral stories that you were supposed to, pay attention to and learn not to suck your thumb and to eat your soup and whatever. But there aren't any, well, that's not true. I was going to say there aren't any morals in Dr. Seuss. There are, but they're more like real life. Like Sala Salute, where it's like shit's gonna happen. You got to deal with it. I don't know what the moral is. The Cat in the Hat. What's the moral of the Cat in the Hat?
Don't talk to adults. Don't trust anyone over 35.
I was gonna say don't trust cats, but most people listen to this, and maybe you guys are gonna kill me for saying that. They're mischievous, and I don't know. The goldfish kind of. Maybe he rubs off from the mom's personality. Maybe she's just a negative Nelly.
Really, because the goldfish is so stressed out through the whole thing, right? Even though everything is calm in the end, the goldfish is miserable. Yeah, no, he's the voice of authority, or the voice of, he's not authority. He can't really do anything, but he's like the voice of be careful. Don't do that.
Maybe it's just a whole bunch of like, what is the term? Neurological disorders. You got the things that are like narcotics, or neurosis, not narcotics. Neurosis. You got the anxiety from the fish, manic from the cat.
There you go.
That's all I got.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
Yeah, you definitely have to delve a lot deeper.
The id and the ego, right? Like the thing 2 and thing 1 are like the id, where they're like, whoa, we're busting out of our crates. We're just going to do. And what's so great about that story is that shit keeps escalating, where you go, okay, the cat has already, wrecked all the stuff. And then he's like, oh, wait, you'll like this even better. And he lets them out of the crate.
Have you guys seen the trailer where it's for when the new It came out, but it's a cat in a hat, and it's really creepy.
That's horrible.
Yeah.
No, that is unfilmable. Even the cartoon, it's like, don't. You shouldn't. Don't do it. It can't be done. The Sneetches has a moral. I mean, the Sneetches is like, no kind of Sneetch is the best on the beaches, bitches. So
that's my wife's favorite.
I love the Sneetches. I know, and it's so great because all this one guy is in it for is just to grift them, right? He's just grifting them out of their money throughout. Although how they have money, I don't know, but it doesn't matter. But yeah, he shows up and says, "Oh, I can fix you." And they keep giving him money. That sounds familiar. taken in by this grifter, right? Who just blows out of town with all their money, and they sit there and go, but we're better than someone, aren't we? Aren't we better than someone?
Do you have any more readings that you'd like to do?
I do.
Let's hear them.
2 more. We're going to do Clark last of all.
Sure.
And no, you know what? Let's go. I thought there was one more Ned, but there's not. I love Ned. Ned's probably my favorite. But no, we're going to read. And this sums up everything that we've just talked about. Okay, and I will show the illustration for this because it's so great. These Viewpoint kids have this giant, I don't even know what you would call it, this glass apothecary jar contraption with this enormous creature who has a lot of tentacle-like legs and huge tusks and big yellow eyes. And these kids are carrying this giant ass jar up the stairs. And they say, look what we found in the park, in the dark. We will take him home. We will call him Clark. He will live at our house. He will grow and grow. Will our mother like this? We don't know.
Well, thank you, Kathe. I never really kind of picked up on the Lovecraft elements of one fish, two fish before.
Oh my God, I'm glad someone thought that besides me.
It's so great. And this giant, and it's like, we found him in the park in the dark. Who left him there? Don't know. Not part of our calculations. We don't care. And it's just so great. Will our mother like this? That wasn't really part of our calculations either. I guess we'll find out. They don't even go that far. That's why it's so much of this is about pure anarchy. Like the cat is anarchy, right?
Yeah.
And that these things are fun, and fun is good. They didn't stop to think, should we bring this giant thing home? They just did it.
It's kind of like a child introduction to what drugs are like. Like the safe version.
Oh God. Okay, that's a new thought on me. I had not thought this. This is the pure. But when you're a kid, those moments of pure imagination, you don't automatically tell yourself no, right? Like that can't happen. That can't happen, because things do happen. I mean, and when we grow up, we kind of learn to go, oh, that was a coincidence, or oh, whatever.
Yeah.
Put a spin on stuff, but things happen. I mean, what if you were a kid and you found this incredibly strange? How can you just leave it there? You got to take it home, right?
Yeah.
If you're
I'm even thinking like a much more innocent version of like going down to the pond and coming home with a bucket, like a massive bullfrog in it, and it's like, look what I got, look what I brought home, and the reaction you get is, oh, what the hell are we gonna do with this?
Right, you're like, I wasn't thinking that far. I was thinking, look how cool this is, and I wanted to.
Yes.
Right, I mean, we can't leave this giant thing in a jar sitting in the park. I mean, this is our good fortune that we found him. It's like what is like in Jack and the Beanstalk, right? Where it's like magic beans, throw those out the window, and then, blammo. If only people would just listen to the children, right?
Yeah.
The child in your head is always right.
I'm thinking of the implied aftermath too, like the next page that we don't get, where they say, "Look what we found," and Mom cracks the basement door, a little sliver of light shines down the stairs on this abomination. This godless creature.
That's right. And the kids come upstairs and they have little buttons that say no gods, no masters. And Mom's like, wait, what now? But but yeah, you can't, you have to, the whole message of Dr. Seuss is these things are fun and fun is good. And you have to bring anarchy into your life because otherwise you turn into the fish. You know, the fish is also a creature in a bowl.
Yeah.
But he's not happy, right? He is not happy. And this thing, whatever it is, this thing is really happy.
I'd like to think the cat's kind of a prankster too. I love pranks.
Oh yeah. I mean, that's why he's always like, oh, Mr. Crinklebine, chill out. This is fun. We're having a good time. Even though he's not, but he keeps sort of hoping that the fish might want to join in and have laughs with them.
I don't want to cut you off, Kathy. So was there one more reading that you wanted to do?
No, Clark in the Park in the Dark.
That's what you got to end with that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I figured, but
not going to do better than that tonight.
I enjoyed it. So where can people follow you?
People can find me on Twitter, where I rarely stop talking, and I'm on Facebook, and I lurk around on the gram. So I'm trying to keep my perfect streak of never posting on Instagram. I post on other people's stuff. And yes, and they can find me at KatheKoja.com if people want to send email, or they can look at darkfactory.club, which is what I do 24/7. So
awesome.
I'm available in all those places. Or I'm in the park in the dark.
With a thing named Clark. Do you have any final thoughts, Kathy? Will you write a Dr. Seuss book with me one day? No, I'm just joking. Do you have any final thoughts?
I would love to be able to write a picture book. I think picture books are one of the highest form of human art because you can do so. I mean, look at that just the few words that we read, and this whole entire world is conjured. I mean, I think if you can write a really great picture book, you have done something outstanding. So perhaps someday in my future, I will never be as good as Clark in the Dark, but maybe I'll do a picture book someday.
Never even thought of this, but that's, for the most part, kind of flash fiction, isn't it? It's under, those books have to be under a few thousand words.
Oh yeah.
Every single word counts. It's not a novel where you can get away with like little loose ends.
No, I think in Where the Wild Things Are is like less than 200 words.
Holy shit. Really?
Oh, seriously, go back and count it.
That tracks, yeah.
It's short.
No, you're right. It's been a few years, but yeah, you're right. Wow. This is really funny. I wasn't even planning this, but like me and Susan Straub, Peter Straub's wife, we were talking what was it? Saturday, right, Brennan? Yeah, Saturday morning. And she came out with her first book was a picture book, and we talked a lot about picture books. That's her main focus, and it's really neat. It's really neat what you can do with it, and I too would like to tackle that. It's just it's fun. I wish there was more dark fiction picture books, but Dr. Seuss is definitely something that is it kind of tackles everything.
And he's not afraid to go weird places. So, and especially if you think of how long ago these books were written.
Was it in the 60s?
Oh yeah.
Because
they were there when I was little, and that has been a minute. So
I'm pretty sure it was him and Stan Lee from Marvel. They used to write something together. I want to say USO shows and for the troops back in the 40s. I can't remember exactly what. Damn, I wish I looked this up before we talked, but yeah, I know that he has been doing it for quite some time, or did it for quite some time. I wonder what he'd write about nowadays.
and
He died.
It's so much harder now, although people still said this is nonsense and kids shouldn't like this, but now, especially now, I mean, there are parents who are mad at books that they have never looked at or read, or it's like, okay, you have to, and publishers are, I would imagine they have to be running a little scared just because there's always a potential blowback. no matter what you do. So you have to, the only way to meet that is to just go straight at it and say, no, we're not talking to kids, and we're not changing, and we're not, because no, you're just wrong.
Yeah. Bunch of jackasses.
That's not making kids safe, right? You don't keep, that's what all the old fairy tales were about too, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's not about, you're never going to meet the monster. It's how you learn. That's how you do meet it in fiction. And then you learn how to meet it in real life from that.
Agreed.
Keep kids ignorant that keeps nobody safe.
Yeah, Grimm Tales, that came from the Grimm brothers. They got that from older folklore, going way back. So yeah, it's definitely, the only difference is it's written down in a different format. It's not oral storytelling. All right, we can talk forever about that. So Brendan, final thoughts, sir.
Obviously I was excited to hear Kathe read from Dr. Seuss, but the biggest thing is just, the last time we had John for like 2.5 hours, and you just spouted wisdom at us the entire time. I knew we were going to get, a way of looking at these stories that I've been reading and having read to me for over 30 years now, just to be able to look at them from a different perspective. And that is exactly what I got. So I am very appreciative of that. I like that we kind of skimmed the edge of, basically being honest with kids. We kind of came back around to that and said, oh shit, we're out of time. Sorry. So I would urge anybody listening, if you want to hear more about that, we did talk at length about that in your full episode. They should check that out because there's some really good stuff there.
That's a great point. Sorry, Kathe, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, it's true. We did. And we, if literature and art is about anything, it's about accurately depicting, our experience in the world, whether that's through, fantastical tentacles or not, it doesn't matter. It's about accurately depicting the experience of being alive. And that's what it's supposed to do. And why would you lie, right? Why would you want to falsify that? It's not going to help anybody. And it doesn't make good fiction either. So
that's true.
Like horrible moral stories that have a moral that no one likes those. They're not fun. And fun is good, right?
And fun is good.
Agreed. Yeah, not to get too crazy carried away with this, but Brandon and I have talked about it where we've seen, it doesn't even matter what the details are, but people saying you shouldn't use these words because they're bad, and basically have a bad guy say, oh, he's bad, and just kind of talk like you're a baby with a undeveloped vocabulary for an adult. It's like, this is so unrealistic. No publisher's gonna take your shit, man. They're gonna be like, this is not realistic. It's weird how many people agree with, this is my opinion, I'm speaking for myself, stupid opinions. I do not speak for Brennan or the show. It's just me. All right. My final thoughts are, Kathe, I love talking to you. Brennan, I love having you on. And as always, we would want you to come back whenever you want. So thank you for your time. And thank you for inspiring this little mini series that we are probably going to forever do. So appreciate everything.
I'm so proud to hear that. So, but all the credit goes to Dr. Seuss, but I'll take a little bit.
Listeners, the next episode is actually the season 2's finale. That's what John skipped. He's not going to be reading from Dr. Seuss. You can find that. You can find it on YouTube somewhere else, but that'll be this upcoming Monday. Season 3 will return mid-January 2022. The plan is to have Rich Shizmar start that season off. So looking forward to that. And as always, your main choices in podcasts. Thank you for picking us.